All right, just a few words about plot. I'm not going to try not to go on for too long today. Um, One thing that we've been discussing, that I've been discussing in the lectures, and you guys have been encountering in the assignments and in your forum responses to the stories, is competing tensions in a story. We've talked about how we want a character to be rounded. We want them not to be predictable, and yet we also want them to have a clear vector of where they're going, what they want. We've talked about secrets and motivations in the dialogue section and elsewhere, and how those both need to be expressed and to some extent suppressed. To some extent, we need to coat the pill, or at least give some larger level of context so the story doesn't just seem like a bare bones plot of a bad adventure movie. And this, but of course, it is really important to have some kind of sense of what the plot is. A few weeks ago, I joked about a plot consisting of my finger going across the screen, this being a protagonist, and then at certain places, an intersecting line interrupts and disrupts that finger's desire to get across the screen, right? And that might be a diagram of a plot. Someone's trying to get some money that they need, and they run into a series of different obstacles. Some love relationship is running its course or developing, and it runs into a series of different obstacles. And I'm curious to see how you guys map plot. I've given you, I hope this is fun and creative, but it might be cruel, at least to those of you who, like me, are not all that talented visual artists. I wish I were, but I'm really not. I'm curious to see how you draw a plot of your own story that's going to be due soon, and of one of the ones that we've read so far. What happens? Where are the main transition points? And how would you diagram that for a reader? We're going to do this one more time this semester, and I think it's really helpful. If you're musicians, you need to know the harmonic structure of a song you're playing. You need to know where the chord changes. If you're doing your guitar solo, and it's a blues, you need to know that in the fourth bar you're going to go to the four chord, and your phrasing is going to reflect that harmonic change. Really, what we're doing in diagramming stories is figuring out what are the architectonic blocks of which the story is made. And as we do that for our own stories in progress, we might realize some of the challenges, some of the opportunities, and what needs to be done next. And I think that diagramming short stories you read, classic stories, or stories in contemporary magazines is going to help you a lot, because it'll show you how the blueprint works. And of course, you might not begin with a blueprint. And these writers of these classic published stories probably aren't beginning with a blueprint, but they're beginning with some sense of how things need to progress. And as they work, that necessity expresses itself. You might find, oh my gosh, that you're missing a section of your story, or that there are two sections that are somewhat redundant because they do the same thing in terms of the action. They advance the plot in the same way. They establish some of the same information. And diagramming can be really helpful for that. On the weekly video I'm giving you this week, check it out, because there's going to be a little admittedly embarrassing example of my own attempts at diagramming, and I'll talk about that. So I look forward to being in touch with you this week, and I hope you're working hard on your stories. As you know, you can and are encouraged to use some of the exercises that you've been working on and discussing with your workshop groups in your story. Perhaps some of them, you found to be ephemeral, but I hope that they can provide some of the widgets out of which you can build your story. That's certainly been the point of them. Okay, good luck.